This is a Main Hustle Media podcast.
Damn it, Wade!
Don't be afraid when the clouds are brewing in your heart. I can dream, just send a wish out in the dark and do the Curmudgeon countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What the fuck?
That's the 1980s Care Bears thing.
Is it?
Yes.
See, I don't know. I just rep for I just rep for Grumpy Bear. I don't remember the theme music. That's amazing. You did your research and shit.
I literally just Googled 80s Care Bear theme song. I was looking it up. I found one of them, and one of them was kind of cool. I guess there's a new one, and I kind of like it. I was like, oh, this kind of hits. It was matter of fact, I will look it up real quick because I still have it in my searches. The end of it goes, I want to be a Care Bear. Oh, it'd be so great when I'm a Care Bear. Oh, I can hardly wait to be a Care Bear. We'll stick together through and through like glue. I don't want to be a cook or a fireman. I don't want to play a trombone or be in a marching band. I just want to be a Care Bear like you. And I was like, oh, I just want to be a curmudgeon like you. I was like, oh, that works too. So yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I fuck with okay. And I honesty time, and we're gonna get right into this, and this will kind of give people an idea of who I am as a person. When I was a kid, I have seen the Care Bear movie from the 80s, or maybe it was 90s, more times than I'd like to admit. Like
Really?
that was one of those things. Oh God, yeah. Like it was like the dark, like the one at the end where it got real dark and they were like gray, and it was like weird. This kid was like in some kind of cult doing mute, like saying some theme, like some chanting some whatever the fuck. And I swear to you, when we went to the video store, yes, that's how old we are, ladies and gentlemen. Video store, not just Blockbuster, the random hood ones that just popped up.
Like the M&S or something, like just named with
Yeah,
initials or some shit.
yeah. And like I would rent it at least once a month. And I've seen it so many times. I'm almost 100% sure if you put it on now, I could probably tell you what was going to happen before it happened. Like that's how
Wow.
many times I've seen that dumbass movie. And it's fun fact for you, I'm 100% sure if I put it on again, I would like it today.
I have not seen it since childhood.
Neither have I, but I'm 100% sure I would know what it looks like.
I've always I have loved the Care Bears, but I've always been about, like, I resonated with Grumpy Bear from Jump, and as a 47-year-old person, I have a number, and I've sent you pictures, right? I have a number of articles of clothing that are related to Grumpy Bear specifically.
If I had Grumpy Bear's always been my guy. Like he's always, and it's funny because he doesn't care, but you could tell he does. But he's
Yeah,
just kind of
that's the vibe. I care, but I don't care.
and then when you randomly get a smile at him, it was like the greatest thing ever.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I resonate with it. A homeboy of mine is actually gonna get the Grumpy Bear belly tattoo
On his belly.
on his belly. Um, and I'm really excited for when that happens. I kind of want to put it on my geek arm, but I don't really have a spot for it because the under part is on hold for when I'm a mermaid, because I'm being drawn as a mermaid for a comic book. Not my comic book, a friend's comic book. So unless I squeeze it like right here, maybe, because this is all my geek stuff. So
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I have a little room here. I have very little room here, and I got like half my chest. And it was funny. I was actually thinking about that recently. I was like, I have half my chest to do, but I was like, I kind of like that it's only like half of it. But I'm debating on doing the other half. But I'm thinking about getting a cupcake tattoo, like right here. Maria lost the bet. She was supposed to get Thor's hammer tattoo, and I won, which I did, and if I lost, I was going to get a cupcake tattoo. But I was like, I kind of want a cupcake tattoo.
So that feels like that voids the whatever the bet was.
Oh,
Are we gonna tell
she's never getting
everybody
it.
what we're doing?
Okay, this is
Not
the Curmudgeon for the Culture podcast. I'm Open Wade.
Starting out hot. Starting out hot.
Part of me wants to go, hey, this is what we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to be doing this, and we're going to be doing that. But also, part of me is like, look, man, we are going to be talking shit. This is essentially what we're going to be doing. Like, we're going to be talking a gag of shit. We're going to be talking about things that relate to us about the culture from two different people of the culture. Some things will not be about the culture, which one of the things is actually kind of funny, considering what we're basically going to be starting with in segment 2. But I honestly think the show will talk for itself.
Should we tell
And
everybody who we are, though?
yes, absolutely. Who are you?
Who am I? I am your Sir Auntie Main, the ex Main, METHOD Main. I am host of the Militantly Mixed podcast, co-host of the BLERDcoMIXed podcast, co-host of Matcha, Masala, and Murder podcast, and now co-host of the Curmudgeons for the Culture podcast.
I'm Old Man Wade of the Old Man Wade Show. I am Mark Anthony Lynch of Bam Smack Pow writing. That's where you can find all the stuff that I write. Bam Smack Pow. Just Google that, and then Mark Lynch. That's who I am. I am a writer.
I
I'm
need
a
to do a pause real fast because I knew your full name, but I didn't put together what your initials were until just now, and I love it. MAL, Mal,
yeah.
perfect. But guess what my initials are?
What are they?
SLF, self.
For self. For self. No, it's funny. On social media, I go as Mark Anthony Wade Lynch, and so my homie used to just walk around calling me Maul.
That's funny.
I was like,
Uh,
that kind of works too.
Ma's a good one for you too. My very first email address I ever had when I was 20 years old, because yes, folks, I'm old enough to have not seen the internet until I was 20 years old, was SLFISH at college something or other. I don't remember what it was. Dot something. And so
Uh,
selfish with no E. And because of my initials, and I loved it. And I was excited. And then everybody would ask me, "What's SL fish?" Yeah, it was
my
disappointing. I thought I was being dope. Thought I was being clever.
You were. It's just some people just don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can understand it, but then like it's like you gotta kind of read it. My homie did something. I think it was the Odyssey. I think that's the play in the movie she got it from. Her email addresses were always nobody. Because when he stabs, for those who don't know, like in the Odyssey, I think it was Perseus who stabbed the Cyclops in the eye, and he was like, "Who did this to me?" And he was like, "Nobody." And so the other Cyclops came over, was like, "Who did this to you?" He was like, "Nobody." And they were like, "What? Nobody did this to me." And they all like, "What are you laughing at? Nobody did this to me." And I love that so much. So whenever they were like, "What's the email address?" "Oh, nobody." It was the greatest thing ever. Oh man. Yeah, but I'm a host of the Old Man Wade Show. Comes out. It used to come out once a week. Then it was once every other week. Then it was once a month. Now it's whenever I feel like putting out a fucking episode.
Listen,
This, however, will be once a week or once a month. But you'll get this way more consistently than my other podcast.
ever since so for people that aren't familiar with me, I was widowed in November 2023, and so everything went on hiatus. Everything shut down. And me, first of all, me trying to get back into the swing. You're gonna get this episode when you get this episode, pretty much. Militantly Mixed, BLERDcoMIXed. I actually think you were the last person I did BLERDcoMIXed with because Shambe was traveling or had a family thing or something. That was months and months ago, right?
Yeah, 'cause I think that was when we watched that awful Madam Web movie.
Oh,
Right after that.
was that when that was? Yeah, I can't believe you guys made me watch that because that
That
sucked.
was that was a I don't know if sucked is the right word. I feel like that was like a travesty to movies.
It made no fucking sense. Like they didn't ground it in reality. They didn't ground it in comic book fantasy. It was just like here's a regular ass lady walking down the street. Oops, now she can't see but she can do all this stuff magic. Like it didn't follow. It didn't
anything. And that, like, so you talk about it being grounded. I don't know if the camera safety crew grounded the wires. Like, that's
that
it.
movie was
It was, it was,
rough.
and you know what makes it even worse is I like the people in that movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a Sydney
Yeah, it
Sweeney
was
fan.
a decent cast.
Um,
Yeah.
hold on, let me see who else is in there, just because I want to make sure that
Was
like
it a decent cast? Honestly, I don't remember. If that's another part of Widow stuff is like shit just erases.
Isabel
So
Isabel Merce was in that, who's been killed it on The Last of Us season 2 and in Superman, which we'll be talking about later. Love Sydney Sweetie. Dakota Johnson, I've seen her in like one or two things. She's okay. I like Zojia Mamet. Like, so it's it Adam Scott was in it. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of like random like people in here who were cool. But that movie was bad.
wait, was Adam Scott Uncle Ben?
He was Uncle Ben.
Oh my gosh. It's like the one thing that came back in my memory. I remember like the weird billboard thing at the end of the movie, and then all of a sudden it was like you said Adam Scott, and I was like, oh yeah, he was Uncle Ben. Yeah. Anyways, it's faded, thank goodness, because that was terrible.
Oh, you want to make it even worse? So they decided that since Adam Scott, who is 52 years old, was going to be the wife of Emma Roberts, who is 34.
Wait, was Emma Roberts in that movie too?
She was Mary Parker. She was the one who had the baby at the end.
Ah, gosh, I don't remember that.
There's a
Yeah.
reason for that. This is not something that should remain in anybody's mind. This was, and I try not to be the person who completely like shits on movies. Like in like all the reviews that I do, I always try to look at the bright side of things, and because like sometimes like
That's
we
not
already
gonna
have
fly here.
it's it won't. It won't. This is gonna be a safe place for me. But this was just one of those movies where I tried really, really hard to like think of something good so I could write a review about it. Like, I'll give you an example. I watched the Joker 2 Folle Adu movie, and I did a review for it. And the review title was Joker 2 Review. It was a movie.
Yeah. That was
But
my Venom Last Dance was it was like this is a movie where Tom Hardy, who I do normally love, where Tom Hardy was in it. This is a movie that had Tom Hardy in it.
like I feel like the only thing that was missing from that was just the dude from the Old Spice commercials. I'm on a horse. Like, and I still haven't seen Venom Last Dance yet. I want to watch it. I just
Oh,
don't
you didn't
have
end
the
up
like.
watching it?
Nah, like I want to. I just haven't had the need or the want. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, all right, you're there, but
Yeah. That's how I feel about Craven. I haven't watched it.
oh
I
god,
could
I
watch it.
um
I don't know.
Craven is under the same thing as like it was a movie. Like,
It's a movie.
it wasn't bad. I'll give it that. Craven wasn't bad. It wasn't fun either, but it was better than Joker. Like, I feel like that's where we should do like the rating scale of bad movies.
Yeah.
Like, so like a 10 being like a just an affront to anything good would be Madam Web. The middle
Okay.
ground would be Craven. No, the middle ground would be Craven, and right under that would be like Joker, where you're like, okay, like
So it's a Joker sandwich? It's like Joker 1.
yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
in a bad movie sandwich. Yeah, like you have
Okay.
you have like
Oh, wait, no,
the
you said Madam Web at the top. I thought you said Joker at the top, but okay, fine.
I would watch Madam Web. I would watch Joker 2 again because Lady Gaga killed. Like, she kills and everything. But like, it was just everything about that was just out of place, and like just like Joker 2 I'm talking about. It had a linear theme, but then like it didn't make any sense for like Joker. You know what I mean? It was
Well, he's
almost
not the
like
Joker. He's a Joker.
yeah. So which also infuriates because it's like
Why do
don't
it?
call it Joker then.
Yeah.
Like don't call it Joker.
Just
And
call
then it
it
was
incel with clown makeup.
like, and I don't even know if you can call him an incel because like literally he got some.
Well, no, the first movie.
Oh yeah, that movie was so the first movie was good in a sense where like it was like well acted, but it wasn't it was a like I always say to people like it was a good movie, it was a terrible Joker movie. Joker
Yeah.
2 was like they leaned in on that whole like Joker 2 thing. And I really feel that like the creator was like, this was a big, I think a big fuck you to people who liked it. I honestly feel that he was just like, that movie was not supposed to be what you thought it was. So here's a giant steaming turd for you
You
guys
you
to get
mean
into.
David Ayers? Is that
Is
the
that the
was the same guy who did the first one?
yeah.
So I
The hell
think
was
what
his
he
name?
has said in the
Todd
past was
Phillips.
that people weren't supposed to root or like his Joker in the first
Yes.
one. And since people did like it and start to support it, which is wild to me, that he made the second one, which I have not seen, because he wanted to be like, "Here's stupid. Here's some more stupid."
Yes, exactly that. Todd Phillips is the dude who did it.
Oh,
And
Todd
I
Phillips.
I love how it happened because it really was that. He basically was just like, no, this is not your icon. This is not your hero. You know what? I'll 300 it. You will not like this.
Listen, I'll support 300. It's 300 is one of my favorite stupid movies.
Yeah, like
It's
Todd
it's
Phillips.
so stupid.
I feel like if I ever got an interview for him, I would if I ever got an autograph for him, I'd want him to write, "You will not like this. You will not enjoy this. I am not your king." Because that's
That
what
would
it
be
felt like
dope.
watching. That's what I felt like watching Joker 2. You will not like this. It will not be over quickly. This is
I
not your Joker.
I can't put myself through watching Joaquin or Lady Gaga. They're both shit people, so it's not for me.
Oh,
I
don't tell me
only
that.
saw the first one because I was on an airplane and it was like, I don't wanna pay for this, but I'm stuck on this airplane, so I'll watch it because it's available, and I
You
didn't
may
have to
not have,
pay extra for it.
you may not have paid for it financially, but you paid for it with your
I
time.
paid for it. I paid for it, yeah, emotionally, mentally. Um, I was traumatized by Joaquin being anywhere near Zazie. I was not
Oh
okay with
God,
that.
my number one. Like if I have a celebrity crush, like like if I have a top five, which I think we should discuss one day. But Zazi's number one on that list.
Haven't we talked about our top 5s a couple of times?
I mean, but yeah, let's keep it a buck. Like it's gonna change. Like
Sure.
Zazi's definitely on that. Like she's number one on my list. Rosario Dawson has been number one on my list forever, but then Zazie Beetz came out, and I was just like, oh, yo, we were at we were at work. We were at work today talking about types, and this dude I work with, this kid. I call him a kid. He's 30 years old. He's gonna be doing like the mid intro music for us, and we were talking about types, and my best friend and Maria were talking about I have a type. I was like, I don't have a type. And Maria was like, you absolutely have a type. And I was like, as my buddy, he was like, you absolutely have a type. He was like, you like um vaguely Latin looking women that are tall and look like they can kick your ass.
Yeah, you have a type. I'll have to third
Which
that. I'll have to third
which
that.
which leads right into segment number two,
Okay.
the engineer.
Yeah. When
I
you
I
sent me that message, I was like, "I don't see it, but I see it for you."
yeah, like look, I know what it is. I am very self aware of what's going on here.
Sure.
So yeah,
Don't
and
worry.
my
I mean,
wife.
I got a type too. I didn't notice it until recently. I did notice it and I showed it to a couple friends. They were like, "Oh yeah." Like when it comes to men in particular, not women, but when it comes to men in particular, there's one type. One type. I didn't know it. I didn't know it, but this person could date it back to a high school crush I had and people I've been with since. And yeah, it's the same dude. It's one dude, just spread out over multiple people. It's
Do you
okay.
have do you have a woman type?
My woman type is slightly more of a wide net, but there are some similarities. Like I like I like Denai Guerrera, Lupita Nyong'o, Janelle Monáe.
Mm,
I like Zazie, but I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this out loud. Sh Especially since I was married to someone who wasn't darker skinned. She's too light for me.
huh. You like, you know what's funny? We talk about, and we'll get into Superman in a second because we all have thoughts and things like that. But you like, I'm trying to find her name. Wunmi. You like a dark skinned woman whose skin like glows.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, I was married to a half a Palestinian, for many years, and even I thought he was too light for me, but he was also the funniest person that I ever knew, and I've known him since I was 15. Um, but yeah, with women, it's slightly broader of a type, but with men, it's literally one type. And Tristan was not that type, but he was funny.
Definitely. Which is funny for me for most of my life, except for my now wife. Everybody, 90% of the women I've dated or had relations with have all been dark skinned. Maria's the first one who wasn't. I
Mm,
kid you not. Everyone
mm,
else, except for like maybe like a chosen, like not even chosen, except for a few, all everyone else has been like dark skinned. Just so happened that I ended up finding my person um somewhere random and just happenstance, and and the rest is history.
yeah.
Yeah. So before we
Yeah,
get
I
into
mean, the
Superman,
thing is we have our types, but um we don't often end up with people that are exact like our type kind of thing. It's like we find a human person that's a real person and they don't necessarily always match the so-called type that we have or whatever. Like I'm not a preference person. It's like make me laugh, be goofy. That usually works for me more than necessarily my type.
so let's get into Superman because first off, before we get into the movie, I just want to point out that something that you said earlier, something you wrote in the notes. Um, Charmaine Lamar. Apparently, you hate the way Superman walks. You hate the way Superman talks. You hate the way that he dressed. Um, you hate.
I am a I am the biggest Superman hater. I do. I do. That's accurate. Calling me Charmaine Lamar for this segment is accurate. So full disclosure, I am hella on record about this on every podcast I've ever done. And just a conversation I had 20 minutes before we started recording with another friend. I have always hated Superman. It is the dumbest superhero character. He's whiny. Oh, he's strong from Earth's yellow sun. Um, I've never been able to stand this character. I do appreciate the origin of his character. I appreciate like why he was created and things like that. I just don't think that he's just not it for me. And I have been a Superman hater since childhood. So this is not like new hate. I have seen Superman movies and shit like that. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I'm the biggest Superman hater, so full disclosure,
So
that.
I used to be a super hater. Um, I started. There was a dude I used to converse with fairly regularly about comic books, and he was like, "You should give Superman a try." I was like, "Fine, I'll give it a shot." Because this also came for a way like I hated Batman for a while. I love the movies, but I hated Batman just because his fans suck. Batman fans are the fucking worst. Actually, I'm not lying. They're not the worst anymore. Comic book fans in general are the worst because they don't know what they want. Um, that's a conversation for
I
another
know what they
podcast.
want. They want the cool toys and the cool costumes, but they don't want the core of the character to disagree with anything that they're into as people.
As much as I'd like to agree with you, because of the Instagram page I run, they don't even want that.
Mm.
They want the cool toys, and then they want to complain about that. They just
Like
like that's what they.
the toys aren't cool enough.
Yeah, it's like there's too many this, there's too many that. This, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna wait till the segment comes. I'm not gonna jump around. Promise I
Okay.
was gonna do that.
Get back
So
to get back to
so
Superman.
I didn't like Batman because his pants suck, right? I didn't like Superman because it's like he's just like I loved him in the cartoons. Like the Superman cartoons were fucking dope. I loved them. I loved the '90s ones we grew up with. I loved them in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. But for me, it was because you could clearly see his flaws in these cartoons, and it also was neither him nor Batman were the highlight of each episode, but you could still tell that they were the core of the show. So
Mm.
you were getting something that wasn't necessarily all encompassing of the big two or even the Trinity, because Wonder Woman was in it a lot, but Wonder Woman was highlighted more. And I think that was intentional because I think people, while they knew who she was, they didn't know who she was, if that makes sense.
Mm.
So I got into Superman comic books. And I was like, okay, this is okay. But then I started writing more of a comic book, so I didn't had to like basically diversify to expand my knowledge of characters. I started with this comic book called Superman War World. And in this one, Superman's powers were starting to wane until he didn't have any at all. So he's just Superman with a giant sword and a shield. And in this, and people look this up. He's essentially wearing an S&M like war suit with just a giant S, like the Superman S, that was hooked up by chains, and he's in like his underwear. And I was like, yo, this person knew exactly what they were doing. They essentially just drew Daddy Superman or Daddy Kent, and it, it was S&M Superman, and it was funny because he in a comic book in the future he keeps the outfit, and John Kent, their son, found it, and he was like, "Mom, what's this?" And then she bolted to close the door. I was like, "Oh, they be wearing that for sexy
They
time,
use
cool."
that. Yeah, they use that.
But like that whole series, reading him just be vulnerable, and he died a bunch just for them to bring him back to life, and seeing him in a different light made me happier. And then I noticed, so then when that ended, I was like, okay, let me get into. I happened to just catch on right when new writers and new artists were starting a new arc for him. So I was like, all right, let me try it out now. And what I've noticed is the new creative teams for him understand everything that you're saying about Superman. That he can be a little too whiny, how he can be a little bit too wholesome at times. So they're not giving him an edge, which I like. We don't need Superman acting like Batman. That's Injustice Superman, and we can go somewhere else for that.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I like that he's remaining truth and justice, but he's also understanding that everything isn't as black and white as he used to make it seem.
Are you talking about solely comic book Superman, not
Yes,
this movie that we're okay.
solely comic book Superman. And if I had one recommendation for anybody, I would tell people to read Joshua Williamson's Superman Start with issue one. Jamal Campbell does the art in the beginning, and Jamal Campbell's that dude. Like
Yeah.
he also just did he wrote and did the art for Zatanna, which was also just one of the most fun
Mm.
miniseries I've read all year. But I usually, if I'm going to suggest something, I'm going to suggest people read Jamal Campbell's Superman. I think it's a great gateway into Superman comic books.
Mm.
But yeah, so you're a hater. It's funny that we're on different ends of this because I was a super hater. You are a super hater. So what?
Yeah. Walk you through my movie review or just the hate?
So before you even get into that, what were your thoughts going into Superman, like just the movie in general?
Well, I always enter 2 things. I always enter a DC live action movie with low expectations because as most of us know, including hardcore DC fans, which I am not, um, DC can do an animated movie like nobody's business. They nail animated movies, but they really suffer in live action and don't matter who's at the helm. So I already came into it with low expectations. And because of those low expectations, it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. That being said, I'm not saying it was good. I I have some which is a stretch for me because of how much of a hater I am. I'm usually the kind of hater that will never give an inch. I will say there are a couple elements in the movie that I did appreciate. But overall, he's such a boring hero character that I'm just like, when is this over? I'll put it like this. I went to the bathroom 3 times while watching the movie. I never as bad and tiny a bladder as I have and as frequent as I need to go to the bathroom, including right now, but I'm gonna hold it for the sake of the recording, I never leave the theater to go to the bathroom, and I went 3 times during this movie. So, that's how unimpressed I was. But it was James Gunn. There's definitely some James Gunn things in there that, is just kinda
Some,
class I mean, well,
some.
yeah, okay, okay. There's, like, but there are, like, certain, like, classic James Gunn things that are gonna be in every movie he does, no matter if it's a hero movie or not, that were there and things like that, some of the stuff that I appreciate. But, it's just like, it was fine. It was fine.
So it's funny. My wife is also a Superman hater. Like she doesn't get it. She just doesn't understand it like at all. Like so I was curious to know how she was gonna feel about it. Now I had been covering the Superman news as comes out. So there were a lot of things that I did know, and one of the things I will say that I did appreciate was for as much as you knew from the trailers, you didn't know shit about the movie. Like you know what I mean? Like
True, yeah, definitely
the
didn't.
initial scene they showed with him like falling in the snow. Why would they show something like this dramatic in like the first trailers? And you're like, oh, because this is one of the first things that happens in the movie, if not the first thing that happens in the movie. So I was like, okay. So I thought the team behind the promotions did a great job with the reveal of certain things that you were going to see, because when they happened, you're like, okay, this was well placed. This was well placed. Like one of my favorites was people bitching and complaining about Superman would never be putting on his boots while there's an alien outside his window. Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Um, and then
Yeah,
when
they
you see,
definitely did do good at surprising you with the movie. You definitely didn't piece it together before you walked in the door, that's true.
so we both left that movie happy. I I
Happy?
don't happy. I love the movie. I absolutely love Superman. Like I was
That's
I was
confusing.
prepared I was prepared to walk out having a different opinion than everybody else.
Mhm.
Um and I found myself just like honestly happy. Like I need to go see it again. I want to go see it again. Um but I was like I left the movie just really happy with everything that I watched because I was like it was and the way I've been describing it to people was it wasn't a perfect movie, but it was a perfect Superman movie.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that could be a distinguishable thing if you're a comic book fan. Um,
One thing I liked, which I think is a departure from most Superman movies, is that there was a little bit of naughtiness, like innuendo with him a little bit
yes.
that you don't normally get. Like you didn't normally get like straight up innuendo or hints. It was with the exception of, I mean, the sexiest thing that ever happened in like the Christopher Reeves things was when he couldn't tell the color of her underwear because she was standing behind the planter that was made out of like lead or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Um but other than that, it just never really kinda went that way, and you kinda got a hint of that with this one. I do think he did a really good job as a Clark character.
Yes.
Um, I can't tell if I read him as Superman very well, but I will say that, he does Clark pretty well.
If you
He
get a
would
chance, look up it's been on Instagram a lot. The gentleman playing Superman, David Cornsweet, and the guy playing Lex Luthor, who was fucking phenomenal, Nicholas Holt. During their interviews, they flirt with each other, and it is the
Yeah, I've
cutest
seen
thing
that.
ever.
Yeah,
It's
it's funny.
so good, and I'm like, no wonder they work so well together. Like they've been eye fucking each other for like months.
I really like Nicholas Hoult. I think he's a really great actor. I don't know if I've seen this dude before that played Superman. He looked different on the promotional tour than he did. He looked so different than he was as Superman, that at first I was like, "Who's that tall guy?" Like,
No,
I didn't
he
even.
is a sexy motherfucker.
Is
Like,
he?
oh god, yeah.
Okay.
Like without like the hair, when he's just got like the like, it's not really a buzz cut, but it's kind of a buzz cut, and he's got
Yeah.
like this like rugged kind of look to him. He's a pretty motherfucker.
Rugged? Okay. Sure.
Um, and in some of the images I see, when I say rugged, I'm not talking like rugged, like you know what I mean, like in the general, sorry people, clear view of clear way people say rugged, like he looks rugged. Like he's not
Okay.
rugged if you're black, he's not rugged, but if you're white, he's rugged.
Okay.
And
I'll
it's
t I'll
funny,
have
I
to think a word
automatically,
for it.
yeah. And it's funny because I didn't necessarily like know who he was either. And Maria was like, "Oh, he was in that movie Pearl," and I was like, "I don't remember him at all." And I just because he was so good as Superman, I automatically assumed he was British because every British actor
That's
that
hilarious.
every good actor that I've seen recently is normally British.
So Nicholas is.
Nicholas, yeah, Nicholas is British.
Yeah.
He's British as fuck.
Okay, so I guess I have seen this guy in a movie before, 'cause I he wasn't familiar enough for me to say like, "Oh, I've seen." I was like, "Oh, it's a good thing they got it unknown, it's a lot easier." Like, a Superman can be an unknown actor in a
Yes.
way that, like, it like, I guess with, America's Ass, what's his name? Chris Evans. Um, Chris Evans was really known, and it was people were at first surprised, but he actually nails, like, to me, I guess he kinda nails his version of Captain America.
I agree.
Um, but so I felt like you kinda needed to have a known guy play him. I don't think you need a known guy to play Superman. Um, so yeah, I mean, he's fine. I guess he did fine. I don't know. The wig that they had for him with that little curly Q up front was great. Sure, that's fine. Um, I didn't like Lois. I don't know that actress though. I know she's like Miss Marvel. What do they call her? She's
Marvelous
a
Mrs. Maisel.
marvelous Miss Maisel. I never saw that. Um, she does nothing for me comically, intellectually, and like she's just furniture dressing to me. There's nothing really that dynamic about her as an actress. So I'm kind of surprised that she got as much notoriety as she did.
So
She's like a step up emotionally from Twilight. Like, she has more expression, but almost the same amount of lack of expression.
so that's the way I feel about the dude who plays the lead in The Bear, who's also in Shameless. Um, I
In
made
Shameless, he was amazing. I've never seen The Bear, but in Shameless, he was amazing.
see, I disagree. I thought he was just okay. I liked him as Lip, but like his his face never changes ever. Like he
No,
every
it doesn't.
and the same thing with the bear. Now I've seen the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and so when they cast her as Lois, I was like, oh, this is great. This was actually really good. And now that you mention it, and I'm gonna have to revisit Superman again to kind of confirm this. But as I'm like replaying a lot of the scenes in my head, I don't know if her facial expressions change much
Hey, they don't.
as Lois. Now that you mention it,
I mean,
um,
she has 2. She has, like, her flat face, and then she has, like, shock, and those are the 2 things you get out of her.
which is weird because she had a range of them in the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Like I thought she was. That's why I was like so like pumped when they had cast her as Lois. Now, don't get
Mm.
me wrong. I think she was really good as Lois. I think the direction they did. I think she makes up for it with physical acting. Like you know what I mean. Like her
Yeah,
body
I can give you
movements
that.
kind of like give it a little extra oomph to
I do
everything
like
that's
that
happening.
she's like a brash version instead of a demure version. I definitely like that. I'm not a huge fan of the few times that they've let Lois be, like, dainty, um,
I
because
hate Dainty Lois.
dainty Lois doesn't make any sense, and you kinda do need to challenge, like, the goody two-shoes-ness of
Yep.
Clark and Superman, so in that respect, I think she did a decent job, but she just doesn't, like, she's not like one of those people like, "Oh, man, I'm so glad that she's like, I didn't have that feeling. The dude that played Jimmy, though, that shit was way funnier than I expected that to be. Uh,
Skylar Gisondo. He's in Righteous Gemstones, and he when they I thought he was the best casting of this just from seeing him in that and seeing him in Santa Clarita's Diet. I was like,
oh, is
oh,
that where he's from? I knew I had seen him before, but I couldn't place him, but he did Jimmy really well. I
and
thought he was
yes,
the the funniest part of it. Mr. Terrific, I think they finally did right by oh man, I don't even know that dude's name. I'm gonna call him Laurent because
Edie,
that's who he played
Edie,
in Twilight, and I know how much
Edie
you love
Gathegi.
Twilight.
Edie Gathegi. We should do a show on that because I love those.
We should actually, because
I
that shit is
love
funny.
those horrible. I love those
Actually,
horrible
I
actors.
really want you to c and I really want you to come visit me in Seattle so that you and I can go to Forks together.
Oh, don't tell me that because I will, and I will, and I will. I will. For those people watching this, like I will sit there and put on the this face. The
We
this
we
is
need
it.
to
This
do
is such a
we
wonderful place. I am so glad that I've come to here to
yeah,
Seattle to see this
yeah.
sparkle.
We need to do a Twilight episode because we need to tell each the our history of Twilight. Um, I think Mr. Terrific, I think he was terrific,
I
and,
think he stole the show. I think he was
I think he stole the
probably
fucking show.
mhm.
Yes,
He
absolutely.
was so let me just say this. So here's another good thing. This is something that is a very James Gunn-ism that I think we've learned from the Suicide Squad, from Peacemaker, and obviously from the Guardians of the Galaxy, is the star is going to be the star, right?
Mhm.
But I think his strength comes in everything else. Um,
Yeah.
so like, so for example, with the Suicide Squad, Harley Quinn wasn't the star of that movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was
Mhm.
the one everybody knew. Everyone knows Margot Robbie. Everybody knows the character of Harley Quinn. But this was a coming out party for Peacemaker. Like, that
Yeah.
was clearly their what they were doing there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we're getting the same thing with Mr. Terrific, the same thing we're getting with Hot Girl and Guy Gardner, the
Okay.
Justice Gang. I think this is
Okay.
their way of putting it out there. And don't be shocked if we get a Daily Planet show.
I would appreciate a Daily Planet show more than I would ever appreciate a Superman movie. I gotta say, I don't like Nathan Fillion's character. I think they
Oh,
amped up the
so good.
ridiculousness of it. I couldn't stand it,
So
but
good.
I also will admit I don't know that particular Green Lantern, so I'll say
Oh,
that.
you would hate everything about
I f
Guy Gardner.
I
Oh
feel
my
like
god.
I would. I
He's
couldn't
everything
stand
you
it.
hate about white men.
Oh, excellent then. Well, then in that case, he did a great job. But because I like Nathan Fillion, but I could not stand this character. It drove me crazy. I thought it was so fucking stupid. And because I couldn't reference it, because I'm not a very big DC fan. Um, I mean, I grew up. My Green Lantern was Hal Jordan until it was John Stewart. So those are the 2 I know, I'll be honest. But I didn't like him, I didn't like the Justice Gang, I loved Mr. Terrific, I loved Jimmy, and the rest of it was, like, whatever for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I thought it was that part was terrible, but I really hope that this allows us to get a branch off with Mr. Terrific that, whether or not as a character it can carry its own movie, I wanna see him pop up. I wanna see more from him, because I think they did right by the character, but I think more than anything, they did right by him as an actor because, he got really screwed over as Darwin in that iteration
Hmm.
of the X-Men, and,
Hmm.
with an expectation that we would see him again, even though they did the weird thing of killing him off, we still expected we were gonna be able to see him again, and then Apocalypse came out, and it was like, "Where the fuck is he?" Um,
Also, for the record, people, everyone talks about how bad Dark Phoenix was. Dark Phoenix was a masterpiece compared to that piece of shit that was Apocalypse. That
um,
I hate that fucking movie so
Apocalypse was
goddamn.
not good. It was
And
not good.
so if we're gonna do the shit sandwich for Marvel, um, the Joker bread would be Apocalypse. The meat of that would probably be um uh uh the first Wolverine movie, and then the top of that would be um I just had it in my head, Dark Phoenix. Because I've watched Dark Phoenix a few times because it's had a lot of really good like performances, like you know what I mean.
Mhm.
because what the hell is this dude's name who plays Magneto? Michael Fassbender. He's always gonna do his thing.
He's a
Like,
good
you know what I
actor.
mean?
Yeah.
But like that was just like I don't know what the fuck they were doing in that, but that shit was fucking like in Apocalypse. All of it was very much like the it was very much like you were talking about with Miss not Mrs. Maisel with Madam Web when you're like, yo, I don't think you guys know what you're doing. Like
Yeah.
that's what it came off as. I'm gonna stay by this. I don't think I was wrong about Superman. I think it was good. I think I honestly I'm gonna wait till I say it again, see it again to go on the record for saying anything else, but that's neither here nor there.
I will say that, like, I didn't walk away from it thinking it was dog shit like I normally would have probably. I mean, I would have been very vocal about that if that were the case, but
That's also true.
it just wasn't, you know,
It
it
didn't move
was
you.
you know, it didn't move me. I really like I said, the 2 things that I liked the most were Mr. Terrific and Jimmy. I did like, Nicholas Holt's, portrayal of Lex. And I also liked the comparison of what we're dealing with now in American politics and global politics and everything like that, where Superman's speech about, you know, essentially, I'm an immigrant and yet I'm here trying to be as human as I can and I make mistakes and I try to honor that, you know, I'm fallible and stuff like that. Like that section I do appreciate. I appreciate the parallels of the country that was being attacked that was gonna be turning into new what were they gonna call it? New Lex or New Luthor or something like that?
Yeah. I'm
Like,
just
I
mad we didn't
appreciate
I'm not gonna lie, I'm mad we didn't get an Otisburg reference.
like, I appreciate that that backdrop was a part of it. Like, I think they did as decent a job as they can do having, like, kinda um, rushed us through the story a bit, I think.
Yeah.
And there were so many elements that weren't explained that I mean, I am a comic book reader, but I'm not a DC comic book reader generally, and I wasn't I was wondering throughout the movie, like, what's the reference back? Like, I can do that in a Marvel movie a lot easier than I can do it in a DC movie. And, so I kept going like, "Oh, I wonder if this is a reference from the comics or if this is something that they just came up with, you know, for the sake of this film." And I was saying that to myself a lot. Um, I actually kinda really like Bumpkin Kent family.
I
Like
loved it. Absolutely love the fact that they couldn't even understand the concept of cell phones. And also and I didn't say I didn't even tell this to I didn't even say this to Maria while I was watching it. But I'm like, they realize their son has super hearing. They don't have to like yell at the phone.
yeah, I know. So that was an element that was just kind of a throwaway that but I really appreciated it because I think in the last few iterations of the Kents, we've seen, like, more sophisticated versions of them than is necessary for them to be.
Yeah.
Um, you know, like, as m I wanted to also be moved emotionally by, Papa Kent's, like, appeal to Clark's humanity, like, telling him
Yeah.
I wanted to be more moved in that moment, and I just wasn't, and it's not I don't think it was the actor's fault there, I think it was kinda the writing's fault there, um like, nothing moved me to care that much, and, that is something that I think Marvel does have a leg up on in the movies, even though it's Marvel's kind of floundering at the moment, I think it's something they did really well in the first saga and stuff like that, so, I mean, it was what it was. I also didn't care about gosh, we didn't even say anything about this. I didn't care about the clone Superman fight, and this is, like, one of the things that comic book fans love is fighting yourself moments, right? Like, a lot of us are kinda into the idea of that, and even though they revealed the clone and we got to see the clone fight, I was just like, "Don't care."
So I hmm, I thought the final fight scene with him and his clone was I'm not gonna say lacking. I think lacking may be the wrong word for it because I think it was what people want. And when I say people, I'm thinking like just the general public. They want a hard hitting fight. They want the clever like defeat and all that. So I think that the climax came when crypto was called. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's when we went from. I think that's where it peaked. Like, you know what I mean? I think everything that crypto did was like that was the victory. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So everything that came after that was kind of just like was kind of like the pudding at the end of your meal. Like you don't necessarily need it. And like, yes, you'll eat it, but it's like it wasn't really necessarily needed. I felt that like after crypto destroyed the drones, I kind of feel like the clone just kind of could have like just fell back. Like, you know what I mean? But I
My
think we needed
problem with needing the drones for the clone fight is if you are of the DNA of Superman, are you gonna tell me you couldn't anticipate the moves that Superman was gonna make in your fight? You needed to be conditioned?
yes, yes, because I think that was a point long. I think that was the point a lot of people were gonna have. And I think that's why when Luthor said he has everything, but he's an idiot.
Yeah.
So
It's
essentially, I was like,
it's still
they
kinda
created
bothered
this,
me though.
but it was, you know what it was like for me again as a comic, as someone who is a novice Superman fan pre 2020,
Mhm.
and someone who's knowledgeable of the character now from like 2020 to 2025. I was like, oh, they're calling him Ultraman, but he's really Bizarro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when I realized that, I'm like, okay, now I understand why he's not doing certain things. And I loved that. And this is something that can be attributed to comic book villains, and real life villains. It all Their defeat comes down to three things, and I've brought it down to an acronym. You can call it PAM or you can call it MAP: money, arrogance, power.
Yeah.
Those are always their downfall. So for Luthor, it wasn't money. He has all the money in the world, and he used it to fund his power. And what was his
Mhm.
defeat? His fucking
Is
arrogance.
arrogance. I do have one major complaint that I'm surprised I didn't jump off with, but you just reminded me. Um, Ultraman is Japanese, so fuck you for using the name. There's only one Ultraman. I mean,
There is
there's
only
not one
there is one.
Ultraman, but he's Japanese, so
Yeah,
let's just calm
he,
down,
he's
everybody.
he was in the comics, but like I can understand what you mean when you get somebody where it's just like Ultraman was like he was my Japanese, like he was your guy, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Oh,
yeah,
let me
I'm
move.
Japanese. I'm a mixed Japanese. I'm a black Japanese nerd, so you don't fuck with it. Just don't fuck with it. Yeah, so I was like, as soon as they named him, I was like, and again, I don't read Superman comics. I didn't even know that DC had an Ultraman, and I was like, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with this.
Oh
Um,
shit. Okay, so I went and did a quick Google to see which one is it. Ultraman in Japan first appearance July 17th, 1966.
oh, don't tell me that this Ultraman is older. That will
Ultraman is a character
cramp
appearing in
my ass.
2 years, August 19th, 1964.
That yeah, that that pisses me off. I'm not okay with it.
But
I'm
let
gonna go ahead and
but let's
stick
keep it above. Let's keep it above. Who's actually more popular? Like
right.
when you think of Ultraman, you're thinking of
Does
the dude
DC's
with the fish
Ultraman
head.
have a booth at New York Comic Con? I don't think so.
Ultraman in
Like,
comic books eats kryptonite, and he's essentially a drug fiend. It's pretty fucking funny.
yeah,
Hey
yeah,
man, you got any more of
it's
them green rocks?
I didn't love it. Also, like, I think there was sections of it that took way too long compared to, like, getting us to where the story was. I think
I can see that. I can see that.
the, the prison, the
You read
portal
my you read my
prison,
mind. That went on
it's
that went on
way too
about 5 minutes too long.
yeah.
Um I
So,
can
you
Yeah,
know,
you got me
I
there.
I
You got me
I
there.
don't have a sophisticated review of it because I'm coming in it as such a hater. But from my hater status, I would say it's not as bad as it could have been. It just didn't move me. It just wasn't that good to me.
So I think what we're gonna start doing now is we're gonna have two kinds of reviews. We're gonna have the hater review
Which is
and the not
possible between you and I often actually.
yeah. Um so 1 to 10, uh one being Kendrick Lamar, I hate the way that you walk, I hate the way that you talk, being your hater review. and 10 being LL Cool J, Mama said knock you out, I'm gonna be nice, but I still don't like you.
I'll go with the LL Cool J on this one.
So yeah,
Now,
like
if we're talking comics or the character itself, Charmaine Lamar all the way. But this particular movie, I'll give you LL Cool J. LL Cool
so
Mane.
LL Cool Man, I love it. So in terms of a comic book movie, I'll give it about an 8. I don't think it's quite Iron Man 1. I don't think it's
No,
Deadpool.
not even.
I don't think it's Deadpool 1. I don't and I have a bias to Thunderbolts because it hit me on a personal level. So I'm not gonna say it's better than Thunderbolts because I can't put my bias aside to say whether it is or it isn't. Um,
Okay.
but I'll give it a solid 8 as a comic book movie. As a movie itself, I'd probably give it about a 7. Like, and I give it a 7 only because if you don't know anything about Superman, which is almost virtually impossible, you would have like you can walk in there, leave the movie, enjoy it, and not be mad that you spent money to go see it. Like, you know what I mean? So, but I'll give another review of it when I actually see it a second time around.
Yeah.
So before we go, do you want to end with what we're watching, reading, and such? I'm calling this the Wade's Shut the Fuck Up list.
Okay.
This may not be a weekly thing, but this will definitely be something that I do. There's 4 points. I will stop to give you a chance to either laugh or give your comments when I'm done
Okay.
because I
So
specifically wrote this down
get
as
all the way
point.
through it and then I can laugh or comment.
Yep, I have 4 points. I'll stop after each point. Okay. Specifically wrote this down as a writer. I didn't want to freestyle it, so I wrote this down. Point one: saying Mortal Kombat went woke because Tati Gabrielle was cast as Jade in the Mortal Kombat 2 movie. The character has been brown, black, and Pacific Island forever. Shut the fuck up.
I agree.
Point two: people who say Superman is woke. As my wife pointed out, superheroes by definition are woke. Shut the fuck up.
I agree. I'm trying not to laugh, but I apologize. Okay, keep going.
People who sleep at work and complain when they're called to do things. Shut the fuck up. People who people who complain about comic book characters or being like comics but don't read the comics. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. That one is so fucking ridiculous. And listen, I will put a caveat if I haven't read that character's book, but understanding, general comic book makings and stuff like that, like I'll be like, from the perspective I have, blah, blah, blah. But if you haven't cracked a fucking comic and you've only experienced comic book characters through their movies, yes, 100%. I need you to shut the fuck up for that one too. I I'll give you 4 thumbs up across the whole
We're giving
points.
that we're giving that our review we're going to be based on storm clouds and garbage cans because she is grumpy bear and I am Oscar the Grouch. So we're giving that 4 grumpy clouds and 4 trash cans.
There you go. That
And before
that
we
is it.
go, Charmaine, what are you reading, watching, etc.?
This is kind of a little bit of like a different side of me. I think what I'm watching right now is I'm going back and forth between the British show Taskmaster and the British show Ghosts. Taskmaster is a game show with 5 British celebrities, and it's hosted by Greg Davies and I forget the co-host name, Alan Hall or something like that. And they basically make the celebrities do stupid tasks and they grant arbitrary 1 through 5 points for what they do, but the tasks are always like really really stupid. So they're making the celebrities do really really stupid things and they get stupid prizes also. And I don't know what it is about it. I guess I didn't say this in the beginning of my intro. I'm a Black Japanese British American. My one half of my family is British and the other half is American, and then I'm also Japanese and Black and everything. And so like British humor is my humor. And the anger at which these people, these that sign up to do the stupid task, get angry doing the task is like, I just love it. Uh, and so I just finished season 19, which also starred the very first American that got flown over for it. I think there has been American on the show before, but they live in Britain and they're established in Britain. But Jason Mantzoukas, who is like a comedian in America, he's a dark skinned Greek guy. He was in
Oh
like
yeah, love that dude.
yeah,
He's
he's crazy. He's just a crazy dude. But he's a huge fan of the show, so he basically harassed them until they allowed him to come on the show, and then he just destroyed the set all the time. Even when he won, he would destroy the set, and I don't know why, but it just was so funny to me to watch him interact with these Brits he didn't know, or when they would hit him with something very British, and he would be like, "From context, I can't even figure out what you guys are talking about," because British people just have weird names for shit, compared to Americans. And so, yeah, I've been watching that lately, and it's been, like, so goofy and fun. And Ghosts, I don't believe in ghosts, but there's this British show that there's also an American version of, but the British show is better, where there's a girl inherits a mansion from a dead relative, and she is pushed out of a window but doesn't die. And when she comes to, she can see all the ghosts that are tied to that property. So the ghosts can't leave the property line, but they just exist. And so she basically becomes like a servant to them because they're in her face all the time. And it's so funny. I don't know what it is about it, but because I am a widow, it's been making me kind of thinking how funny it would be if Tristan was just stuck tied to me and had to watch me live like I'm living right now. So my dark, twisted sense of humor and British humor, it's kind of funny because like I almost wish there were ghosts, but I don't think there are. So, anyways, it's really
oh no,
funny.
we can have a great conversation about that. My fucking belief in ghosts.
I know you do. We've talked a little bit. There is an American version which is funny too, but in its own way, and it took me 4 seasons to enjoy it, whereas I enjoyed the British one right away. So yeah, those are the things I'm reading right now or watching right now. I'm kind of reading books that people want to be reviewed on Militantly Mixed right now, so nothing too particularly nerdy, and I need to re-log into the comic book library so I can start reading some shit because there's some things that you told me to read and I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Transformers.
Yeah, yeah, basically. And what I've been playing with lately is my voice command Megatron and Optimus Prime.
So for me, I've been reading this comic book called Sex Criminals. I usually read this once a
Oh,
year,
they're good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
and
ridiculous.
I love that like despite like I so it's written by Matt Fraction and drawn by Chip Zdarsky, who's also a writer. I didn't know he was an artist until I started reading this, and who he's super goofy in person. I met him when I was at Comic Con last year, but I love the fact that throughout all like the random sex and all the stuff that they and all the goofiness that they put inside the comic book in general, there's a lot of depth within that, and the talk about mental health and the idea of what it really means to like how like sexuality isn't has never been as linear as people make it out to be. Like so I love that part about it. I'm actually doing a reread of that. Unfortunately, I do a lot of my reading at work and I can't really log into my computer at work and have sex criminals on the search
Yeah,
history.
yeah, right.
So I
Probably not.
so I yeah. um, so yeah, I'm reading that. But when I was logging in, I was reading in The Wicked and the Divine, which is probably one of my favorite
Hmm.
comic books ever.
I have
Like I
seen that. I have not read it, but I have seen it.
if you
So it's
decide to read it, I read it already once this year. If you decide to read it, I will read it again.
okay.
It's in my top three. Like I'm currently working on a project and about comic books, and I think that might be either number between 1 and 5 of the comic books like people need to read. It's that
Okay.
fucking good.
That's cool. Yeah, I have it tagged on one of my I wanna read lists. I just haven't gotten around to it. So that's dope.
Um, I'm going backwards in the Assassin's Creed game. So I bought Shadows, and that was my introduction to the Assassin's Creed game. And I specifically bought it because of the outrage that there was a black samurai, which is actually based in history. So I bought it specifically for that. And I ended up loving the mechanics, loving the characters, and you don't even really get to use the samurai until maybe like the second act. which fine, whatever. So then I played the one before that, Valhalla, but now I'm on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm using the character Cassandra, who's a bad motherfucker. Like, like
Is
I love.
Odyssey based in the Greek mythology?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's super cool. And I'm watching, and let me preface this by saying, if Neil Gaiman did that shit, fuck him forever. But
Oh
I'm
gosh,
watching season 2 of Sandman
I know.
now. But if he did that shit because he hasn't been convicted or even tried yet. But if he did that shit, fuck him forever.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Fuck him forever. Give the rights to the comic book to somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? But like, if he did that shit, like it's Sean Combs, R. Kelly level shit. Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? If he did that, then fuck him forever.
Yep.
So that's been a Curmudgeon cast. That's been episode 1. Thank you guys for listening. Sharmane, where can they find you?
You can find me on the social media at Sharmane Fury, SharmaneFury. I am not on the bad old bird thing. I'm on Blue Sky, but I barely use it. I'm on Instagram and TikTok that way. Or you can follow my other shows, Militantly Mixed, BLERDcoMIXed, and Matcha, Masala, and Murder.
You can find my stankin' ass on Instagram, oldmanwade.com, OldManWade show, SHOW. COM, oldmanwade.com, or you can probably just write Old Man Wade. I'm almost 100%
Probably
I'll
pop up. Yeah, you're
I'll
kind
probably
of the
pop up.
only Wade that's out
And
there.
I'm literally that on all the sites. Like, that's how
Yes.
I'm Old Man Wade everywhere.
Yep.
Like, that's what I do. But just be warned, it's all dorky shit. I'm on
Yeah.
Blue Sky almost every night. That's where I usually keep an account of all the comic books that I'm reading. Like and I'm actually really proud of them. I'm actually ahead of what I was last year. I've read 910 comic books this year.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah,
because you started tracking it last year, didn't you? Because I was kind of like,
3. This is my. I
oh,
think this is
really?
my 4th. This might be my 4th year.
Damn, it's all
Yeah,
blurred together.
blurred. So yeah, you can find me on that.
I know we're running long, but do you know this is actually embarrassing? And this was pre-Widow brain. So like this one I had my full functioning non-damaged brain. Blurred Vision, my co-host on BLERDcoMIXed. It's BLERD Vision.
Yeah.
It took me probably 10 to 12 years to figure out that he was doing a play on words for blurred as in blurry vision and blurred vision as a
I never
blurred
even
as a
thought
black
about.
nerd.
I never even put those together. That's actually pretty fucking funny.
And when I figured it out and I stopped and looked at him, he just laughed because I'm usually a lot quicker. And it took me over a decade to piece together the fucking play on words there. Very disappointed in myself. But go ahead, wrap this show up.
All right, this has been the Curmudgeon podcast. And until next time, keep it curmudgeon, children.
Curmudgeons for the Culture is a Main Hustle Media podcast, hosted by Old Man Wade, Mark Lynch, and the X-Main, Sharmane Fury. Produced by Sharmane Fury. Music is My Lord by Yaren Primack. If you like what you heard on Curmudgeons for the Culture, please subscribe, rate, and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
And until next time, keep it curmudgeon, children.